Hello students. Since it is not possible to conduct the classes in school, I have made this video for your better understanding of the economics subject. In this video, I am going to teach you all Unit 2, that is demand analysis, and it consists of 12 marks. So let us begin with the first topic. What is demand? Demand is the quantity of the commodity that is bought at a particular price and at a particular point of time. So demand means the various commodities that you can purchase, that you can buy at a particular price and at a particular point of time. So in this picture we can see a person, the consumer, or you can say the buyer is buying different products. He has bought the different products. So these are the different goods which he has bought, and this becomes his demand. Now the demand to be there, he should be willing to buy the good and he should also be able to buy the good. Okay, now the demand means there should be some willingness on the part of the buyer to buy the goods, and he should also have the ability to buy the goods, meaning he should have the money to buy the goods. We move on to the next topic, that is determinants of demand or factors affecting the demand. So the topic determinants of demand or the question factors affecting the demand means one and the same. The first factor which affects the demand is price of the commodity. When the price of the commodity increases, the demand decreases, and when the price of the commodity decreases, the demand increases. Means what? When the things are becoming cheaper, people will buy more, and when the things are becoming expensive, people will buy less. In short, when the price increases, people will buy less, meaning the demand will decrease. And when the price decreases, people will buy more and the demand will increase. For example, if you all go to the Mapsa market and if you all feel that prices of some goods, let's take example of apples. If the price of apples decreases, people will buy more apples, and if the price of the apples increases, it becomes high, then people will buy less of apples. So this shows us that there is inverse relationship between price and demand, meaning they are moving in the opposite direction. When the price increases, the demand decreases, and when the price decreases, the demand will increase. Income of the consumer is the next determinant of demand. Demand changes with a change in income. When the income increases, the demand for normal goods also increases. And when the income decreases, the demand for normal goods also decreases. What do you mean by this? When the income of the consumer increases, meaning when the salary of the person increases, the demand of the consumer will also increase. Higher the salary, higher will be the demand. Now what do you mean by the term normal goods? Normal goods means these are those goods the demand for which increases with the increase in income. So normal goods will be the goods which are of good quality. So we say that the income of the consumer increases, the demand for normal goods also increases. And when the income of the consumer decreases, the demand for normal goods also decreases. This both income as well as the demand are moving in the same direction. If one increases, another one also increases, and if the one decreases, another one also decreases. So there is positive relationship between them. Taste and preferences of the consumer is another factor which affects the demand. When consumers develop taste and preferences for a good, its demand increases. But if the consumer does not have taste and preferences for a good, its demand will decrease. It means that when a consumer likes a particular product, he will buy those products and the demand will increase. And if the consumer does not like that product, then he is not going to buy the product and the demand will decrease. This means that if the taste and preferences of the consumers are in favor of a particular product, then the demand of that particular product will increase. And if the taste and preferences are not favorable, or you can say unfavorable towards a particular product, then the demand will decrease. The next factor which affects the demand is expectations of future prices. If the consumer expects the price to rise in the future, he will buy more in the present. And if he expects the price to fall in the future, he will buy less in the present. It means that when you expect that the price will rise in future, then you will tend to buy more in present and less in the future. And if you feel or if you expect that the price of a particular good will fall in future, if the price will decrease in future, people will buy or you will buy less in the present and more in the future when the price falls. Let's take example of gold. If the people expect that in the coming month, okay, in the next month, if the price of gold will increase, so people will plan to buy gold in the present. And if the people feel that the price of gold will decrease in the next month, so people will buy the gold in the next month instead of the present month. Prices of related goods is the next factor which affects the demand. Now the prices of related goods means there are two types of related goods. One is substitute goods. What do you mean by substitute goods? It means the goods which replace each other. The goods which replaces each other, for example, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. These are the substitute goods. We do not consume these two goods together. We can have it at a particular time. One at a particular time. And the next related good is complementary goods, meaning the goods which are consumed together. For example, car and petrol. These goods are consumed together. So let's see what is the explanation of the price of related goods. In case of substitute goods, when the price of one good increases, the demand for other goods increases and vice versa. Now what do you mean by this? If the price of cola, that is Coke, increases, people will buy less of Coke and people will move their demand towards buying Pepsi, and that's why the demand for Pepsi will increase. The next one is, in case of complementary goods, when the price of one good increases, the demand for the other good decreases and vice versa. Now, complementary goods means the goods which are consumed together. For example, we consume the petrol and car together in order to drive. So that's why when the price of the car increases, people will buy less of petrol. The demand for petrol will also decrease. Along with the demand for car, the demand for petrol will also decrease. Now, why is the demand for petrol will decrease? Because the demand for car and petrol is demanded together. Okay, so it is consumed together. That's why the demand for car and also for the petrol will decrease. So if the price of car increases, the demand for petrol will decrease. The law of demand is very important from the point of view of the board exam. It can come for 5 marks. The division of marks is like this. The statement is having 1 mark, assumptions 1 mark, demand schedule 1 mark, diagram 1 mark, and explanation of the diagram consists of 1 mark. Let's do the statement of the law of demand. What is the statement now? Other things remaining constant, when the price of the commodity increases, the demand decreases. And when the price of the commodity decreases, the demand increases. This shows that there is inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Meaning, when the price of the commodity is high, when it increases, the demand automatically will go down. That means it will decrease. And when the price of the commodity decreases, the demand will increase. Meaning, the price of the commodity and the quantity demanded moves in the opposite direction. If one increases, another one decreases. This is an indirect relationship, and that's why we say that there is inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Meaning both the price as well as the quantity demanded is moving in the opposite direction. Let us now learn the assumptions of the law of demand. Income of the consumer remains same. The income, meaning the salary of the consumer, will remain same. Taste and preferences of the consumer remains same. Which means that if the consumer is liking a particular product or disliking a particular product, that taste and the preferences, that is not going to change. It will remain same. Prices of related goods remains same. Now the prices of related goods. What do you mean by related goods? It means the substitute goods and the complementary goods. The prices of these two goods is also assumed to remain same. That means it will not change. It should not change. Fourth one is expectations of the consumer regarding future prices remain same. So whatever the consumer expects, whether the price is going to increase in future or whether the price is going to decrease for a particular product, those expectations of the consumer also remains same. In short, these are the factors which are affecting the demand which are remaining same. So assumption means you all are supposed to write the factors of the demand and they have to remain constant, meaning same. After writing the assumption, we need to make a table of the demand. So here is a demand schedule which is having two important columns. One is price and the other one is quantity demanded. So look at the prices properly. The price is decreasing. Highest price is 5 rupees 5 and the price is continuously decreasing. From 5 it is becoming rupees 4, then it decreases to rupees 3, then to rupees 2 and then to rupees 1. Let us see what is the quantity demanded for these prices. When the price is very high, that is rupees 5, quantity demanded is the lowest. So when the price is very high, the quantity demanded is very less, that is only 1 unit is demanded at rupees 5, and as the price is decreasing, the quantity demanded is increasing. This shows us that they are moving in the opposite direction. The price is decreasing, the demand is increasing. And if the price is increasing, the demand is decreasing. With the help of this table, we can now draw demand curve. So using this table, we can draw the demand curve wherein on the x-axis we are supposed to measure the quantity and on the y-axis we are supposed to measure the price. So quantity demanded is measured on x-axis and price is measured on y-axis. D is the demand curve. So when the price is very high, the demand is less, and when the price is less, the demand is high. So the demand curve is sloping downward, meaning it is sloping downward, meaning there is a negative relationship between the price and quantity demanded, which means that there is inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So when we write the answer of the law of demand, it is very important for us to write down the statement of the law. Then we are supposed to write the assumptions, then demand schedule, demand curve, and then explanation of the demand curve. Movement along the demand curve is another important topic. When this movement along the demand curve takes place? It takes place only when there is change in price, other factors remaining same. Meaning the other factors which affects the demand or which determines the demand remains same, and only when there is change in price, movement along the demand curve takes place. Now change in price can be increase in price and also decrease in price. Change means increase as well as decrease. So movement along the demand curve takes place when there is change in price, other factors remaining same. There are two types of movement along the demand curve. One is expansion or extension in demand, and the other one is contraction in demand. Expansion or extension in demand. We'll do the definition first. Other factors remaining constant, when there is decrease in price, expansion in demand takes place. Meaning the factors which affects the demand should remain constant, should remain same. And only when there is decrease in price, expansion in demand takes place, meaning the quantity demanded will increase. Let us explain this extension or expansion in demand with the help of the diagram. On the x-axis we are measuring the quantity demanded, and on the y-axis we measure the price. D is the demand curve. This is the basic observation which we see in the diagram. So we have to exactly look at the diagram and write down the explanation. We can see that P1 is the price and Q1 is the original quantity. So P1 is the original price and Q1 is the original quantity. And let us now decrease the price. So when the price decreases from P1 to P2, the quantity demanded automatically increases from Q1 to Q2. So when the price decreases, quantity demanded increases. So the demand is moving on the same demand curve. It is not shifting towards the right and also it is not shifting towards the left, but it is moving on the same demand curve. And when the price decreases, the quantity demanded is increasing. So this is the extension or expansion in demand. Contraction in demand. We'll do the definition first. Other factors remaining constant, when the price increases, contraction in demand takes place. Now what do you mean by this contraction in demand? The factors which affects the demand, the factors which determines the demand should remain constant, meaning it should remain same, and only when the price increases, the quantity demanded will decrease, meaning contraction in demand will take place. Let us know the contraction in demand with the help of the diagram. On the x-axis, we measure the quantity demanded, and on the y-axis, we measure the price. D is the demand curve. This is the basic observation which we see in the diagram. We have to look at the diagram and then accordingly write the explanation. P1 is the original price and Q1 is the original quantity. Now see that the price is increasing from P1 to P2. So the price increases from P1 to P2. Look at the quantity demanded. What is happening to the quantity demanded? The quantity demanded is decreasing. When the price increases from P1 to P2, the quantity demanded decreases from Q1 to Q2. So here the demand is moving on the same demand curve. It is not shifting to the right or to the left, but the demand is moving on the same demand curve. This is called as the contraction in demand. Thank you, students. I end my presentation of demand analysis over here. So next video I will be continuing with the unit 2 of the demand. I will start from shifting of the demand, and then I will move to elasticity, the types of elasticity of demand with its calculations. I hope you all have understood the concept of demand, the determinants of demand, law of demand, and movement along the demand curve. Thank you, students.